So just a small info about Iwwof. If you could give me a minute because it's not working for some reason.
But we can see the screen.
Yeah, but
I'm not clicking. Yeah.
yeah, that was the thing. Yes. Yes. So to start off with, Iwwof is a community which has people from various international backgrounds. We all come together, we work as a community here, we talk about the Finnish culture, Finnish society, and we bring up a lot of topics and issues under discussions. And it's a platform for everybody to integrate into the Finnish system and to know more about it, whether you want to work, whether you are in the education sector, you know, of various backgrounds. This organization, it was structured as a not-for-profit organization. It was registered in November 2019. So Iwwof Talks Learning is a comparatively new initiative that came up when we realized that there were a lot of topics on higher education, on university life, on the job sector that people often had. And we thought, why not have an initiative where we could have people, speakers from their respective fields who have their expertise and experience in that field to come ahead and address the audience, take questions, and help us to know a little more about this field so that it's easier for us as or for you all as viewers to participate, to know, and make your path a little more easier, or give you a better understanding of how things work out. So which is why under this session we had different topics on different days and dates when we had speakers from their fields talking about issues which was related to education as well as jobs. And for today's session, it's student and well-being today and in the future. And we are so glad, we are very happy to have Maria as our speaker. So without wasting much time, I would swiftly move on to Maria and request you to start off this session.
Thank you so much.
And I need to stop sharing. So that if you could give me a minute. And something is wrong with my Zoom. Yes, I think it's there. I think, can you share the screen now?
I can try to share my screen, yes. Just a moment.
And if you guys then have some questions, you can type it in the chat and we will read it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Elena, and thank you, Ashmita. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you, Elena, for asking me. And it's an honor to be here talking about
Our pleasure.
student well-being. I think these kinds of possibilities are very important, that we can just talk and discuss things, and you can ask me whatever. So please don't hesitate to ask or interrupt me, or just because maybe I won't see your hands, but you can write questions in the chat, or you can just open your mics and ask me whatever you want to. So that is fine with me. And if I talk too long, then please just tell me that now it's enough. Now we are going to do something else. But well, I work at Arcada, University of Applied Sciences. I've been working now for 1.5 years as head of student well-being. Before that, I was working on the HR side, and I have also been a teacher in psychology. And before that, I have been working with younger pupils and students. But now I'm at Arcada, and it's very, very interesting, and it's an interesting time to be working with student well-being. I'm going to continue again. Here's from Arcada. So, well, I'm a psychologist, so I think I'm using my skills differently sometimes, as when I'm trying to figure out, or together with other workers at Arcada, how we can build a nice and good structure that will support well-being. And sometimes I'm just talking individually to students about their lives and what is going on, and trying to help them forward, whatever they have and whatever they are wondering about. My private life is like, I have a family, a husband, Thomas, and 3 daughters. The oldest one is 19 years old, and she went to Costa Rica for a year before the pandemic. And I can see how much this exchange year has brought into her life. So I think what you're doing right now, sharing your experiences and your day-to-day life and work and life, is very important, and that's really a nice thing. The middle one is 16 and the youngest one is 12. So you can understand that my husband is quite busy with his ladies. So in between family and work, I try to sing as much as I possibly can, and performing sometimes, and I really love it. It's a very important thing to me. And if there is any time left after that, I'm trying to exercise or do something for my own health. So I also put my email address there, so if you have any questions after this, you can contact me, or if you can feel free to write me if you want to discuss something. Okay, enough about me. So what are we going to do today? I'm going to talk a little bit about this student survey that has been done in the spring, and but I'm not going to focus so much on that, because I want to talk to you and I want to discuss about well-being. And even though we're talking about student well-being, I think well-being is something that is important for all of us, and it's a very challenging time. And maybe, and I hope that you also, when we go through this, you might be thinking of what was your situation like? How do you feel? How do you, what do you need in today, and what do you think that you will need tomorrow to be as well-being as possible, if that's possible to say it that way. So this is like the schedule, but please feel free to interrupt if you have any questions. We will start with the survey, the COT survey. And what is it? So this is conducted. It was conducted in February to April this spring, and it's implemented every 4 years. It was supposed to be done in 2020, but since the pandemic was here, it got delayed, and it was done this year. So it investigates higher education students' physical and mental health. Now I have to move my screen. Yes, lifestyle and perceived well-being, and social relations and the factors affecting these, and the students' ability to study and related support needs. Of course, today I'm not going to talk that much about physical health. I'm going to concentrate on mental health and a bit about social relations, of course, also. Why do we do this? We need information because we want to give the students like the best possible support. And if we don't know what they need, then we don't have it. Then we're just like guessing and trying to give some kind of services that maybe they won't need, or if it's not relevant for them. So it's very important to always look at these kinds of surveys to do the right thing. Sometimes we miss anyway, but it gives us a hint of what is needed. So we don't have all the results right now. We don't know everything, but we have some results that we can share right now. And these are not that, I don't think that you're surprised by these results, or that they are like, oh, we didn't know about this, but it's still very important that we try to figure out what it means. So remote studies and loneliness have put a strain on higher education students. Yes, I think this is not news for us anymore. We know that feelings of loneliness have increased by more than half, because students have been isolated. They have been living alone, not able to be with their friends. Sometimes they have been isolated from their families. And if they have been living with a roommate or something, that has of course helped. But many of the Finnish students have been living alone also. So this is of course a big issue. And what it's not about, like now when we're talking about these results, we want to know how these things affect the students. What does this mean? If you feel lonely, what happens in your body, in your mind? What happens if you're feeling that you have no one to talk to? So these are really interesting issues that we will probably see more of in the future. We also know that amount of work required by their studies has increased during the coronavirus epidemic. This is like, I think in the beginning, students and teachers were trying to find the best way of teaching, and sometimes it resulted in a big amount of work to do by yourself. I'm maybe a bit positive about this. I think maybe this will balance now when we know a little bit more and know how it affects the students, but it has been hard. And we also know that women, both younger and older students, have been affected more from this increased workload than men has, and younger more than older. Of course, this is a new situation. If you come the first time to study something, you don't have routines, you don't know how to study. So of course, this will affect you more. But we need to take that into consideration when we try to figure out what kind of support we're going to give in the future. And we also know that the financial situation of higher education students is more difficult than before, because all these summer jobs and has been impossible to do. At least last summer, I think, or 2020, but maybe this summer was better. But these results are from before that, so we don't know about that. So, like I said, I'm not very surprised by these results. I don't think you are either. But we need to see what this means. What does it mean? What does it mean in the student's life if we know this? So, what else? This is my own my own list. What I have noticed during this year. Many students have come to or asked for help with difficulties talking to friends and family about their situations, or what they are feeling or experiencing. And often when I have asked them that, why is this? Why has this changed, or has it changed? They say that I don't want to be a burden for anyone. I know they have their own issues. I know that my friends are struggling too. I know that my family is struggling. So they don't want to be a burden to anyone. And in these times when you really need other people, you need to talk to your friends and families. If this is a wall between because you don't want to burden someone, that's a big problem, because then the problems will really get bigger. I also noticed that anxiety and feeling down, these feelings have been more intensive during this period. It's not that the pandemic in itself has been maybe the problem, but during these times, maybe old problems are coming, like and things that they have been through before is now a much bigger problem. So we have like old problems, and now when the situation is what it is, they are just rising up, it becomes a big issue. Feeling unmotivated is, of course, something that many students have experienced. I don't know what you think. I would love to hear what you think about this, because what is going on, what happens. But maybe one thing that has been relevant when it comes to motivation is that if you don't have anything else in your life, just studying or just work or just one thing, when you try enough, then you won't get any input from anywhere. They can't exercise because the gyms are not open. They can't be among their friends and doing nice things and just relaxing, having a good time. So they're just focusing on, what is it I have to do? Well, I have to study. I have these things I need to do. But you also need to have an input from somewhere, not only like, not only like doing school stuff or work stuff all the time. Maybe this is one of the factors. Many have lost their everyday structures and meaning in life. Why should I get up from bed? I don't need to go anywhere. I can just sit here. Maybe this online studying has been like, okay, you can do it whenever you want to do it. So why should I do it right now? I can do it tomorrow, or I can do it next week, or I can do it in a month. And maybe the teachers are really like meaning well. They are saying, hey, we can change your deadlines and we can do like this. So you don't have the structures that you're used to. And maybe at some point, students are feeling like, well, if no one asks for my work, if no one cares if I do this or not, then it doesn't matter. So maybe this is something that has come up. Of course, like I said earlier, if you have some kind of trauma in your childhood or background, then these times will just bring it up, and they will start thinking about it, because they can't do other things to block the memories, or it's just harder to think about other things. And family situation has been, if you have a bad connection to your family and to your friends during this year, I think it has been more difficult, of course, for students to take that in, or to they have no one. If you don't have a good relationship to your family or friends, then you have no one during these times. So this is something that I have noticed. This is not, I haven't been asking students about this, but this is just my point of view. So I'm going to stop just for a moment here to see if you have any questions or comments on this. Or
Yeah, we have an interesting question from Penny, and she says, "Hi Maria, my son is 14 years old and has been doing home learning for over a year during the pandemic. He is a very active person in sports, particularly football and outdoor, and during the pandemic, all these activities were cancelled. He likes reading, which has also stopped, maybe because due to too much of online screen time. I would like to know what's the best way to motivate him to go back to sports and reading."
well, That's a very good question. Thank you. I think this is something that many people are struggling with right now. How to get back to normal? How to go back to something that we know that you like and something that's very, very important to you. So maybe just to have the discussion to remind him of what did he like with sports? Why did he? Was it the friends? Was it the activity? What was it about exercising that made him feel well? Somehow I think that's the only way to go back, or to try to find something new. Maybe he doesn't want to go back to the old way. Maybe he wants to find something new. I don't know. So football is fantastic because that's both social and exercising. It's outdoor and it's indoor, and it's very, very good. But maybe he wants to do something else. So why don't you ask him to see if this is time for a change? Because we don't have to go back to what was before. We can also move forward to see what will be good for you in the future. And when you're 14, maybe you feel like, well, I'm not in the same shape as I was before, and that might be a wall also in between that. Hey, I'm not as good anymore. Can I go back? Have my friends been like exercising or working on their cardio or whatever, and I will be somehow behind or something like that. Maybe you could talk to one of his football friends to see how things are going, if they can go together, if that's what he wants to do. So something like that. But it's hard to force someone going back to old routines if they don't want to. I don't know if that answers your question, but
Maria, I have a question for you as well.
yes.
You might talk about strategy, well-being strategy at Arcade later a bit more, but I wonder if students found it easier now because the pressure and the suffering is much higher during Corona, from what you've told us, to actually approach you and use your services and find you and talk about what bothers them and what they're struggling with.
Thank you for the question. And I think so, yes. I think it's easier because we have been talking a lot about students' well-being. We have been talking about how isolation affects your feelings and how you're doing. And I do think that young people are quite open about their situation. Not all. I'm not saying that everyone is, because I know there's a lot of people just keeping it to themselves. But I do think that this is a good thing that has brought with it that we can talk about not feeling so well, feeling down, and we are more like this is something. It's not unnormal. It's a normal thing that we are going through, depending on what happens. Now it's the surroundings and the pandemic, but there might be other things, and I think that every human being, in some point, they will go through difficult things, and I'm very happy that they think that, okay, and I can look for help. I can ask for help. It's not something that I have to deal with on my own, and this is good. I think that in my generation, I do not think that we were as open about these things as they are. So, and they are talking to each other also. So I think this is a good thing.
That's good to hear.
Okay. You can ask me later if you have any question, but I'm going to move on a bit from here to, okay. Now it won't. No, now it's moving forward. Yes. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about resilience. And now if you want to, you can try to think about your own situation and what you need, because as I said, we are all human beings and we all need ways of coping with life and with struggles and with challenges. So that's why I wanted to talk about resilience, because this is also something that I want to teach our students more about, because I think we need it. So what is resilience? I think it's a really popular word, and sometimes I get a little bit like, okay, no, I don't want to hear about it anymore because everyone is talking about resilience right now. So bear with me, please. But I think you might know something about this, but I'm going to go through it anyway, if you haven't heard about it. So it's about managing life's challenges and bouncing back. So what happens when we go through difficult periods, we meet a lot of things during our lifetime, and it's how can we get back on track, or if we don't want to get back on track, how can we move forward? Resilience, we sometimes think that it's a personality trait that only some of us have. We're just born that way. This person is so resilient, but that's not true. It's not about personality, and it's not extraordinary. It's not something that only some of us can learn. And it definitely does not mean a life without problems, that someone is just like, okay, I'm flying through life and there is never any problems. On the opposite, it's like when we meet something, it's how we act upon them, how we think about it, and how we can behave. That if we can look at ourselves, that we will learn new things, we will develop, and we can like train our minds or to think differently about things. I think that's resilience, to learn a bit more on how we all feel about things and think about difficult things. And it takes time and it takes effort. So, but of course, before we can be resilient, we need to look the problem in the eye and say, hey, I have a problem here. I noticed that every time someone says no to me or turns me down or something, I get these feelings that I'm worthless, or that I'm not, my ideas were bad, or I really did something wrong. But instead of thinking that, might think that it's something we can work on. And how can we work on these things? We can work on these things by putting ourselves in these situations, so we have the possibility to get used to them and to get acquainted with them somehow. Like, so if we know that we don't like someone says no to us, then we can try to put ourselves in that kind of situation, that, okay, I'm going to ask something now. I know this person will say no, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I know this feels really awkward and I don't feel comfortable at all, but I'm going to practice this thing, and I'm going to learn how to handle this situation better. And then you will, if you can do that and try, okay, my boss said no to me, but it's okay. I still know that I have a good idea. I'm going to try again, or I'm going to ask my friend for a favor or something like that, and see how that goes, and see how I feel, and try to really focus on how my reactions and how I can think differently about these things. So it's about, like, this really practical small things, small steps that we can do. But often if something feels really like awful, or if we are uncomfortable, we're starting to avoid these things. And that's the worst thing we can do. We avoid them, and then we isolate ourselves because, okay, I can ask for this because I'm afraid that someone will say no, or maybe they will think that my idea was stupid. And then you stop asking, and you will stop suggesting things. And I think at some point that would kill our inner selves, all the things that we want to do, or that we are excited about. We will just kill those thoughts, because even before we have tried it, because we are afraid of someone saying no, and it feels like awkward. But we need to just do this more often, and find a better way to handle it. So this is something we can learn. That was just one example. So I put some things that we can do to build resilience. So I think this is for every one of us. And how can we build it, and how can I try to get our students to accept that we are learning things. They don't have to be ready. We don't have to know this at once, but we can build on resilience, and I think that's very, very important. So build connections. We need other people. We really need other people, and we know this because I think the pandemic once again has made us realize. So this is a good thing with the pandemic. We know that we need other people, even though we're not that social. We don't like maybe social gatherings or something like that. But I think everyone needs someone. So try to prioritize relationships. We know that people who stay in long friendships or have a partner, we know that they live longer and are happier. So we really need our friends and our families, and so what does this mean? Well, this means that maybe I'm talking now to working women, so so I don't know how you feel about this, but sometimes maybe you don't have to do the extra amount of work. Maybe you can sometimes draw the line and say, hey, I'm going home now. I'm going to be with my friends. I'm going to do something nice. I don't have to push it a bit more. And this is hard because, it sounds like a crazy, if you are a businesswoman or if you're doing something that is really important, then you think, no, this will just destroy my work, or someone might think that I'm not good enough at work. But if you want to feel good and work on your well-being, this is a good way. Start prioritizing your relationships, even though it seems like a crazy idea. Accept support and help. I don't know why. I had never understood it. Why is it so hard to ask for help with small things and with why do we have to do everything by ourselves? I don't know, because I think that most of us can recognize that it's quite nice to help people also. So why can't we be the ones sometimes asking for support and for help? I know I'm really, I'm struggling with this, to ask people for help, because I think I want to do things on my own and my own terms. But I'm trying to learn this, and I noticed that it's easier to get close to people, to your friends and to your family and to strangers, even if you ask for help. So maybe this is something you can work on. Do not isolate yourself. When we are struggling, we think that we don't want to be a burden, just like students. We don't want to be a burden to other people. We don't want to, spread the bad vibes or something. So maybe sometimes we stay at home instead of, when we are feeling tired or lonely or something, we say, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be a bad influence on anyone or just spreading my thoughts and feelings. But maybe you should just, for that reason, you should go somewhere to see other people, to get new thoughts, to ask for help. Also say, hey, I'm struggling. Can you help me? It's okay. So that is something, connections and people, we really need it to be resilient. So, second point here is foster wellness. Oh, I'm talking a lot now, so please, Elena, tell me to stop when our time's up.
No, all good.
I'm trying to speed up here. Foster wellness, of course, take care of your body. You know these basic things. I don't have to tell you. It's a sleep, exercise, what you eat. Take care of yourself. You're important. Take time, book time in your calendar to just take care of yourself and think. I know that many students and many women all over the world has sleeping problems because they're so stressed out. This is a serious matter, This is not something we just have this one body. It's nothing you can't just fool around and think that, oh, it will keep me going forever. It won't. If you don't sleep, you get crazy. You don't have to be without sleep for a couple of nights or 3 or 4 nights, then you can't do anything. So it's important. You are important. Please take care of yourself. Take care of your body. Mindfulness is a perfect way to just relax and to take care of yourself. And if you're a person who likes to write and write things down to get them out of your head, you can try this, that to write 20 minutes a day during 45 days. Just see what it will do to you. Will you get your thoughts straight? We know that from research, we know that this will help you to feel better about yourself. So it's only 45 days, 20 minutes, you can do that. Instead of, I'm not very proud of it, but I spend too much time on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So maybe I can use the same time to write down how my day has been and what my thoughts are. I think that would be more productive than than watching Facebook or being there. So do not escape through social media, alcohol, drugs, or Netflix binge. I really love movies. I love watching movies in the night. I think that's the best way to just calm down and have a nice evening. But I also noticed that if you do it all the time, there isn't enough time to just calm down in the evening, and we need to just calm down and relax our thoughts and our body. So I don't think that I think you know all of these already, so I don't want I don't think this is new to you, but this is just like a reminder to you what you can do if you want to work on it. So find purpose in life. What do you want to do? What do you want to do in life? Are you at the right place? I often ask my students, do you feel that this is your thing? As a worker at Arcada, maybe I'm not supposed to ask that questions, because then their answer might be, I feel I'm not in the right space. But I think it's an important question. So from time to time, ask yourself, is this the right workplace for me? Is this what I wanted to do when I was young and when I was dreaming about how it would be when I became old? Or have I forgot some of my dreams? Have I forgot who I am or what I love to do? It's safe to ask that question. Maybe your answer is yes, I'm really where I'm supposed to be, and that's good. But it's also okay to say, I'm not sure anymore. So we know that helping others gives you a purpose in life. So I think maybe we all could do something. We don't have to do everything by ourselves. We don't have to save the world, but we can do something sometimes for others, and that feels really good. What is in your control and what is not? Now, during the pandemic, we can't control the pandemic, even though we are trying to. We can't do that much about that, but we can figure out, what can I control? Well, I can try to take care of myself. I can, if you want to get vaccinated, please do so. That is something that you can control. But don't get stuck with things that you can't control. Try to focus on what you can, what is in your control. Set goals. What would you like to do? What would you like to change, perhaps? What don't you like in your life right now? Set goals and take really baby steps. You don't have to get there at once. You don't have to get there tomorrow. But if you, for example, would like to be better at keeping contact with your friends, or if you would like to learn a new language or whatever it is, just write them down and try, what can I do? And what would my plan look like? This is something that you probably are familiar to doing, but you can do that also with like more personal things. I would like to be better at taking time for myself, for example. And then you try, what does that mean? Okay, that means that I in the morning maybe can sleep a bit longer. Maybe I can take time to just practice mindfulness or something like that. Whatever works for you. And when things are rough, use the opportunity for self-discovery. How do I react? What do I feel like? What is working for me? What is not working? So it's a good opportunity to just look inside yourself. It's not all bad, you know. Crises are not all bad. We can use them for a good purpose. And embrace healthy thoughts, like a perspective. Try to take a step back. Avoid irrational thoughts. You know, when, for example, I'm sorry that I'm using the pandemic as an example all the time, but we think that, okay, now the world is going under and everything is just going mad, and we're going to just everyone is going to die or something like that. We can feed these kinds of thoughts if we want to. We can read all these catastrophe thinking, and we can take it in, but it won't help you. It will make you more anxious. And we try really to take, okay, what do we know? What do we not know? What do I have to take in, and what do I not have to take in? If you feel anxious about reading all the news all the time, don't read the news all the time. You don't have to. If it's not good for you, then don't do it. Sometimes we think that when we get through when we meet something difficult, then we think that, oh, this is me, this is my life, I'm always going to be in trouble because I'm this person, or I think I'm this kind of person that always gets in trouble. That's not true, not at all. It's not something that it's defined, that this is you, that you should always have problems, or you should always be the strong one. Or sometimes we think that I'm the one that has to deal with all this, but it's try to get yourself out of this kind of thinking. Choose how you interpret things and react upon them. You can do that. You can choose if you want to look at it from a positive direction, or if you want to just put yourself down, because often I have noticed with students, at least, that they interpret things that it's my fault. I am lazy. I am the one I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not social enough. I'm not good enough. And we are always putting us down, but it's not true. Try to think it the other way around. I'm okay. I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn new things, but I'm not going to put myself down. It's very, very important. Accept change. I'm trying to be very straightforward with my students, and that when they come to ask for help and they say, I would like things to change, and then I ask them back, what are you going to change to make things change? And they don't want to change. No one wants to change. They just want things to change. And this is difficult because nothing will ever change if you don't do something, if you don't change something in your life. Maybe it's your attitude, maybe it's something practical, but you know, things around you will change even if you don't like it. But if you want to be more in control of what's happening, then you also need to make some changes in yourself. Try to accept that it doesn't have to be bad, but it might be a bit, hard to do sometimes. And don't ever lose hope. So that is very important. Keep up the hope. There is a lot that small things that we can do to feel better about ourselves and to work with our well-being. and ask for support and help. That's the most important thing, I think. Should I ask, do we have questions, comments, or thoughts?
No, not right now.
Okay. Is it okay if I continue and then we talk about it later? Is
Yeah,
that
sure.
fine? Okay. So what will the future be like when it comes to, I put the students in this because it's about well-being. It's about for everyone, not only for students. So what are the challenges that we are meeting? Loneliness is absolutely one of the biggest challenges that we will have in the future. Because even though we are even more people on earth than ever, we're still more lonely because we can't share things. We don't know how to share our lives with other people. This list is not something that I have not been doing any research about it. This is just my own list that I listed when I thought about this yesterday. So please don't take it too seriously. We have an expression in Swedish that everyone is the smith of their own luck or something. I don't know if this is I make my own luck, if that's how you say it in English, but I don't like this quote. I think it's one of the worst quotes that I know. I think I actually hate it, if if I'm frank with you, because I don't like what it does to people, that I have to struggle, I have to do everything by myself, and if I don't, then everything is going a bad direction or something like that. And that's not true. I think we're giving opportunities, and we can choose what we do with those opportunities, but everything is not in our own hands. It's also where were you born? What kind of support do you have? What kind of friends do you have? Do you have family? Did you get this possibility to work on a nice workplace where it's a supportive environment, or do you have someone destroying the environment so everyone feels like really? It's not all about you, and that's why I don't like it. So I hope that this quote will disappear somewhere. Are we not resilient enough? Or don't we have enough grit? Pushing through things? Maybe not. Let's see. But we need to work on these things. Lack of values. Have we lost all our values are we talking about values anymore? I think company values we sometimes talk about, but it's quite superficial sometimes. But if we talk about values, what is important in life? What are your priorities? Where does it come from? It's very important to discuss these things. And we don't take enough time to discuss values at all. Maybe lack of roots. We don't know who we are, where we come from. Do we understand our own society? Do we understand where we come from? Why is it like this? Or are we just continuing something that we're used to doing or something? Do we discuss ethical and moral issues now? I don't know. I hope we are, but sure. And of course, we have this huge environmental thing that we need to be concerned about, of course, and think about. But I also know, and you probably know, that it causes a lot of anxiety in students. Do we even have a future, or don't we? So maybe these are challenges, and how can we support and help people think about these things? Well, certainly not if we're not meeting anyone, then it's hard to discuss these things. But if we're talking to people and getting together, then it's possible. So answers, I don't have any answers. Of course, I'm sorry. You probably wanted some nice answers here from me, that this is what we're supposed to do, but I don't have the answers. I know that we need education. We still need that. We need education. We need also psychological education, how to deal with this well-being thing, and what we can do. But we also need, of course, we need to know things and get our facts straight. But we also need relationship skills. We need social skills, learning skills. to have learning skills, we need to be really humble, because we need to say that I don't know everything. And sometimes we want to think that we know everything, and then it's impossible to learn something new. But we also need to learn how to give and receive help and support. So I would like to get all these things into education and into every course that we have. So, and I know that many teachers are very aware of these things and are trying to build this system that will focus also on social skills and learning skills, and balance. How can we balance work or studying with family life, with other things and dreams? And we really need to see that we have the things we want to have in our lives, that they are there, that we don't forget about things that we love to do. So that is why I'm singing as much as I can, because it gives me the balance. I'm trying to listen to students, I try to engage, but when I'm on stage, then I don't have to think about that, because then I can do I can be someone else, or I can have another role in my life, and I love it. I think it gives me a lot of energy, so I can take that with me and go to my work and have enough energy and enough willpower to listen and trying to help. So we need these different aspects in life. So. And in the end, I put some practice. If you want to practice a bit of positive psychology, then there are different things we can do. We can have letters of gratitude. Did you know that you feel better even though you just write the letters of gratitude? Even if you would never give it to the person, you will still, the writer would feel better about her or himself. I think that's amazing. So something in our mind, like if we feel gratitude, we will feel better. I think that's amazing. So you can go and check that link if you want to practice on something, how to be more, to feel better, to be happier. So we can do things. So. Okay, I'm going to stop here. This is what I have to say. I'm sorry for taking such a long time.
No. It's just that we have two comments. One is from Marieke. Correct me if I spell your name wrong. So she has a comment. Yeah, Marieka. Okay. Maraika. Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
She said. Yeah, I think you have said that there is a similar kind of saying also in German. That's the one Maria mentioned right now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Jeder ist seines Glückes Schmied. I also really don't like that one. I think it is so it's not enhancing at all, and it raises a point that you said, Maria, which I find really interesting, and I thought about as well, is that we don't know how to share anymore, or do we? And maybe if we would learn that a bit more, then we would realize that we don't need to do these things by ourselves. There is no fun in doing things by ourselves anyway. So thank you for bringing that up.
Welcome. Thank you for commenting on it. Yes, we need to share things. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. We have one question for you, Maria. It says, it's by Gwen. She says, how do you evaluate the long-term impact of the COVID crisis on students' well-being?
Well, I think it's of course too early to say, but I think we need to focus on these and be really observant what is going on with the students, listening to the students, what is going on, what kind of things are going to happen when they get back on campus. For example, we have noticed that some social issues are coming up. It's hard to be among people because you're not used to it right now. So it may feel really social anxiety might be something that can be a long-term impact from COVID, for example. So we need to work on that to see what can we do, how can we, with small steps, get them back. Just have small talk with people might be a problem right now, or going into a class with a lot of people might be something that is hard right now. So I don't know, will it last, or will it go back to some kind of normal, what was normal before, or do we need to see what the new normal can be like? So this is something that I'm a bit concerned about, because now we have this you have this hybrid version at work or also in school, that you can stay at home if you want to. So it will be easier for these people to stay at home doing their studying from there, but it won't benefit their well-being. It might be just the opposite. So we have like these things, or as I said, I'm a bit concerned, but let's see. We need to be focused and be aware of this. And I think we have, yeah, I'm concerned too. Yeah. So, and I would love to say that this now we are on the better side of the pandemic, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Things are not that good right now here in Finland. So I hope that we will get over this. And I would like it to be like really compulsory to be on campus, but it's not. And it's hard to force anyone to come.
Maria, I have another question, if I may.
Absolutely.
Have you, like when we talk about well-being strategy, have you implemented changes to that due to Corona, or was that something, or I mean, of course, it's more in our focus mental health anyway just now, but I wonder if you had to change something according to your strategy there.
Yes, I think we need to be more like really. This is a change that we won't do that fast, but I would like to change it that we would, our team, we have this team with special education teachers and guidance personnel and things like that, to get more into the courses. We need to give that to everyone, because it's not only for those who feels that they have things they want to work on or discuss, but this is for everyone. So I would like to be more like going and talk to all the students about this and be more proactive, not only sitting and waiting for students to contact us, because well, we do have a lot of work, even though we would sit down and just wait for students to come to us, but we need also to go and to tell them, to give them tools. What can you do if you're feeling it's normal to feel this way? You know, you can try with this, and you can look here, and you can read this, and you can talk to us. Not like you have a problem, then you need to go there. More that we all have. This is it's a problem for all of us. We need to handle it together somehow, in the classroom, online. So I think we need to change our mindset a bit there.
Okay, yes, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we don't have any questions anymore. And now our time is over. Thank you very much. The presentation was really nice and very informative, and actually really motivative and positive.